Check. This ain't a place for children, only danger lies within. But you gathered up all your nerve and you're flashing your face at me again. If I told you once, I told you twice, I devour lesser men. So step back and get right. Maybe you don't remember, or you're hiding that you're scared, but I remember your girlfriend crying behind her pretty blonde hair as you were shaking like a kid, having a bad nightmare. So step back and get right. I am a bad man. The world is a cold place. Bundle up. 5,000 years from now, when your flesh is in the ground, everything will be the same. With every war of human lies, every hymn that screams and cries, from their lips will be my name. So loose your arrows and your stones, tear the shell right from my bones. In my grace I cannot fall. I have no need to seek atonement, but even in my weakest moment, I am greater than you all. And when that fire comes to claim all your doubts and all your pain, you will see me stand above you then. And with my eyes all thick with smoke, I will watch you as you choke, and you will know how much I love you then. 5,000 years from now, when your flesh is in the ground, everything will be the same. With every war of human lies, every hymn that screams and cries, from their lips will be my name. So loose your arrows and your stones, tear the shell right from my bones. In my grace I cannot fall. I have no need to seek atonement, but even in my weakest moment, I am greater than you all. And when that fire comes to claim all your doubts and all your pain, you will see me stand above you then.
Now.
Hey, Omega BR.
Yes, Gunnar.
Oh, dear Jesus. That's a flashback. Hey, I lost count. How many episodes of this have we done?
Well, it feels like about 2,000.
But you see, whatchamacallit, Vince Russo isn't booking us.
Fuck you, Vince Russo.
You know? So it just seems that we've made it. We've come to the summit. This is the end.
Well,
we're getting a call too immediately.
We didn't even get the number off.
The number yet. Caller, you're on the line. Caller.
Smoot was due.
What's up, Smoot?
Nothing much. Just watching this Ducks Canadian game.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, well, you watch your game, and we're going to start the show. Hit the music.
Well, there's no time for joking around. Just quiet down your chatter. The weekend pro wrestling is no laughing matter, baby. From Impact to Raw to SmackDown Blue, you'll be good at math and science if you only listen to Get Serious. Oh, Get Serious. Oh, Get Serious. Enough.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 200 of Woo Get Serious, West Get Serious, whatever you want to call it. We're getting serious for the final time here. I'm Gunnar, the patron saint of rearranging your face. That is Omega BR.
Just like the American bicentennial, everybody's too busy kung fu fighting to pay attention.
I know, right? 1976 was so not a dated reference at all. All right, everybody, you could call into the show. I just want you to let y'all know that 812-408-9666. That's how Smoot Resu got on earlier in the introduction. Smoot, are you still with us?
I am still here.
Alrighty then. So as soon as he gets off the line, somebody else can call in too. We can get your opinions and thoughts and whatnot in. If you cannot get through, you could still jump on TeamSpeak if you happen to be on a computer right now. TeamSpeak. Let's hear it. TeamSpeak 3, and then the address is nudnickstudiosclans.net. You can find that all on smartsnark.com. Joining us this week also is our wonderful technical producer, Mr. Yankum DDS.
I have not broken anything yet, and I was here early, unlike some people.
It wouldn't be an episode if I was early. I'm not going to lie. Also joining us this week is one of the originals. I mean, it's Vassar, who does not have his mic working at the moment, and who needs to fix that.
Hello?
There you are.
I spent the weekend in Vegas, and I won jack shit, so yeah. Have fun, people.
Rip. Also joining us this week is the Croc.
Hello, everybody. I survived the impact zone from last Tuesday,
which you'll be talking about later on in this show. Also joining us this week, you know him, you love him, not really, Netchester.
Hi, everybody, how you doing? And I got one thing to say, brother. We slammed that nasty old gawker.
Oh, man, yes, Hulk Hogan did with his 15-inch penis. Speaking of 15-inch penis, it's WFC Masters.
It's more like 10? Speaking of that, is it appropriate to really show tapes with 4-year-olds?
Well, that depends. Are we talking about you or your alter ego?
Cockles!
Exactly. And everybody get on your knees, because Save Us Dog is here.
Howdy. How's everybody doing?
All right.
We got a big interview coming up for the 15-minute time limit, something I got a chance to be a part of, which I'm pretty excited about. So stick around for that.
It was so cool. We're interviewing Lance Hoyt, also known as Lance Archer, also known as a whole number of other stuff.
Vance Archer. The only thing he wasn't known as, I think, is Vance Hoyt.
Dallas, and other things.
It's the last dance for Lance Vance.
He's
never going to come on our show again.
The current GHC heavyweight tag team champion with Davey Boy Smith Jr. over there in Noah, I believe. That's correct.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
The Killer Elite Squad.
Killer Elite Squad. Yeah. Gotta love them. All right, so you get an interview with them later, but first, we're going to do what we've been doing for the past 200 episodes, and that's the news. That's the news.
Introduce Croc, did you?
Yes, I did. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I introduce Croc? I already did. Yeah. So we're going to do the news and not get interrupted by certain people who are completely annoying. I love you, Jester. But we're completely annoying. TMZ reports Sting may have been expected to announce his official retirement during WrestleMania weekend, as apparently doctors have advised him not to get in the ring again following his neck injury against Seth Rollins at Night of Champions last year. Sting, however, claims he is not retired and his neck is fine. Bray Wyatt has been dealing with a back injury, which is why he's been non-physical against Brock Lesnar at Roadblock. However, there are plans to make him a top heel following WrestleMania, having programs with both Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Well, to make him a top heel, guys, we're going to have to do something that he hasn't done in a long time, which is win consistently.
Yeah, right, dude. Hasn't this been the plan for 3 fucking years now, and they still haven't made him the top heel?
Yep.
Can I just go ahead and throw this out? Luke Harper, I hope you get better, man. That sucks.
I have no idea what happened to Luke.
The word is an ACL injury, which would be devastating. It's not 100% confirmed yet, but all reports are basically pointing to the same thing, which is not a good sign.
In a dark match, too.
The match that sends the fans home happy, and then Harper gets hurt.
You thought Neville got screwed.
Oh man,
God!
I saw the video. He literally was just throwing punches. His leg slipped out and then just went the other way. It was disgusting.
It just gave.
You're always worried about your favorite wrestlers doing some sort of crazy dive or something, and just wanted to do a baseball slide or throw a punch.
MVP said it best. The injuries that happen to us are literally like baseball slides, working out. It's not anything like, that should kill us, like that, jumping off ladders and shit like that.
Even though that probably doesn't help at all. Also, as somebody that has had a neck injury before the whole Sting thing, unless it heals completely perfectly, you are pretty much screwed for the rest of your life.
I wonder what's the blame for all injuries.
To blame? I mean, there really isn't necessarily a blame to go around, beyond the fact that, they work more than pretty much any other wrestling company does in the world right now.
I was going to say, if you're going to point anywhere, it's the schedule being so ridiculously big.
300 years.
They're running
a year.
Well, they're running 2 house shows in one day. They're running pay-per-views while they're trying to run a house show. Like, the roster's already razor thin. People are going to get hurt.
And there's to me, it seems like I got asked this question by a friend the other day, and I'm going to tell you guys the same thing. I think it's a bug. I don't think it's necessarily anything anybody's doing, or if there's like a concussion type thing where it's like a universal thing that we're not paying attention to. I just think it's the fact that, they're working so much, they're going so hard, and the WWE works them to the bone. And obviously they don't get paid enough, and obviously, people don't put enough money into it to be able to pay them, necessarily speaking. But according to the Melts, if you hear what you believe, all of WWE's revenue can pay their salaries with 10 to 15% of what they make. So it leads me to believe that, they're killing themselves still for, even not enough money to be able to go. So, and we've talked about money on this podcast before, too. So, I mean, I'm not terribly surprised by any of this.
I hate to bring this up, but if Punk taught us anything, it's they do really work. They really do work their talents to the bone, even when they do have other people to do shit.
You will apologize to me for them.
I was wondering when we were going to hear from him.
I want to say one last thing about the Sting thing. Sting did an interview, and in the truest fashion, you guys got to remember, the only thing about Sting, the only thing for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure.
Oh boy.
Oh Jesus. Never say never.
Bullshit!
Can I say one more thing real quick? There is a way around this, WWE. Now, I posted this to the boards last time when on the Woo Wrestling boards on 420chan.org because...
I'm going to buzzer you right there because we're not going to do any more fantasy booking on the show. I understand.
Booking. Real quick, it's just that we split the roster up into 3 different parts, and we do it by quarters.
We've discussed this.
How's that not fantasy booking?
We've done this, and it's already been done with the rosters. The roster's already been split. We know where that ends. We don't need to do it again.
And we're going into another one if the rumors are to be true here. With Shane winning and all that.
So Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was successful in his lawsuit against Gawker Media as the jury awarded him $55 million in economic damages and $60 million for emotional distress, with possibly more...
On the way to the emergency room, in that slow rolling coffin, mutter the words, "Yappa-pie, brother."
They added an additional $15 million in punitive and $10 million from Nick Denton, the founder and I believe owner of Gawker. Denton claimed that key evidence and important witnesses were improperly held from the jury, and they expect to win on appeal. They have, however, agreed to pay a bond fee of $50 million, which is about...
That's the limit in Florida that you pay. Like, that's the most that you can put down on bond in order to do an appeal. You can't put down any more than that, no matter how much they say you owe.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's like 1/6 of their company's entire value.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Well, I've heard, the estimates that I've read is that they're worth about $300 million, which means that, 50 million would be about 1/6. Right? Yeah,
just about.
So here's the question: who's more buried, Gawker or Tyler Breeze?
I think Gawker is right. That's what's made. I mean,
right now,
Tyler Breeze is $100 million.
Well,
okay, let's put it this way. $130 million, one film, Hulk Hogan is best paid porn star of all time.
Let me ask you guys this question. Is there a porno that you would not put up on the site?
There's a few, and I'm not going to name them here, but they all involve a guy, named Festus.
Wait, what? No
thanks.
Sounds like Bunny.
Well, if you're the Gawker guy, then your limit is a 4-year-old. Like, that's the only porn you can put up.
What he said.
Oh my god!
Allowed the weird Uncle Basement films. I mean,
their lawyers, Gawker's lawyers, fleeced them, which I'm perfectly fine with. But you can't bring new evidence to an appeal trial. That's not how an appeal works.
Nope.
Yep, it ain't.
So I don't know what the fuck their lawyers are talking about.
It's funny because Denton actually posted an article, his own editorial, on Gawker today.
Uh-oh.
And it was basically a bunch of fluff, a bunch of BS, the same stuff he's been saying, there was evidence that wasn't presented, we didn't get to present. There was, Hogan, we believe Hogan did this not because he was embarrassed, but because he wanted to prevent the racial comments from getting out, which might be true, but still. And basically that celebrities enjoy a smaller window of privacy, which at the same time he asked somebody in the comments what was the news value of the Jennifer Lawrence and other celebrity leaks, which they, as you'll recall, demonized pretty heavily.
Oh, and I believe someone's being prosecuted for those right now, too.
Nick Denton has written on the words, "We now know the trial was a sham from the start." Oh wait, you're serious. Allow me to laugh harder.
Yeah, I mean, forget the fact that it's Hogan and, you know, that...
You couldn't handle the load!
I mean, yeah, Gawker really just... they really screwed themselves, you know, because they were a bunch of cocky pricks on the stand, and they thought it was in the bag. And
references tonight.
Like, like anytime Gawker was trying to interview anyone from Hogan's side, they just made it worse upon themselves.
It was a pretty laughable trial. I can't believe that they broadcast that on actual television.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I really hope that NetJester's dreams come true here, and that Gawker goes down.
I can't believe they didn't broadcast it on pay-per-view. People would have paid to watch that. They would have made some money.
Hogan would have made even more money.
They complain about wasting taxpayer money. Why not make some taxpayer money back? Put that shit on pay-per-view.
I would just pay just to watch the bit where Hogan has to, like, argue the bit about his penis not being 10 inches.
Oh my god, that thing.
What's the difference between Hulk Hogan's penis and Terry Bollea's penis?
Okay, now here's the thing. Didn't he, on oath, say that Hulk Hogan's penis was 13 inches of American red, white, and blue steel?
I thought it was...
Yeah, so that is kayfabe. That is fucking kayfabe now. That is kayfabe.
He has a 13-inch penis. You know what else is kayfabe? Or whatnot? You can tell how Terry Bollea / Hulk Hogan is tweeting by the way he ends his tweets. HH is him tweeting as Hulk Hogan.
Yes!
TV is Terry Bollea.
Oh my god, he is literally split into his personal life and his public life on his Twitter.
Brother, that's the only way to live.
Still alive, brother.
I don't know how he even knows the difference anymore. But look, here's my thing on this whole thing. This is how bad Gawker must be if I'm cheering for Hulk Hogan. Because anyone that's been on this podcast for more than 3 episodes knows how much that I loathe Hulk Hogan as a human being. I think he is probably one of, if not the biggest piece of human garbage to ever walk the earth. That man is fucking scum. I hope all the bad things in life, oh wait, they already have. Anyway, if I'm rooting for fucking Hulk Hogan against anything, just like, how shit does that thing have to be?
All I gotta say is it came crashing down and it hurt inside.
You
bastard.
Well, I've been here for
a sec. Let me play devil's advocate for a second, just for Gawker.
Okay.
The reason they wanna appeal. Get this, the only reason they want to appeal is because Bubba the Love Sponge did not testify in the trial. They want him to take the stand.
Oh god.
They can't have more. That's not how that works. You have to have a mistrial to add more.
Exactly.
Their legal scheme is just idiotic. Like,
it's great.
I don't know shit about law.
It's great. It's great.
They think
more biased, brother.
Sponge will take the stand. They believe in their heart of hearts in the appeals court, once they do it, that they will be allowed to have Bubba the Love Sponge take.
If I can be serious for a minute,
I gotta dumb myself down!
But I'm gonna agree with Yankum on that one, because I've been here for over 3 dozen episodes, probably in all, and I already know about his hate for that.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right!
Yep. I mean, it's just hilarious about this Hogan thing. Well, glad it's over. Glad it's going to be over. Glad Hogan's going to get paid. Here's my question. And I gotta ask this for everybody. Do you think that Hulk Hogan comes back to the WWE at WrestleMania because of this?
Yes. No.
If he does, maybe next year, but not this one.
Yeah, not this one.
It's too soon.
Love it. Happen this year.
Even though it's relevant, it's too soon.
I don't think he'll come back at all.
Shit. I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think he'll come back at all.
Not after the racist stuff.
I don't know, like, we're talking about a man, if we're talking about, like, Vince McMahon, this is a man that has dropped and redone business with Hogan over the years so many times that your head would spin. Like, yes, you can pretend like the largest wrestler in the world doesn't exist, but he comes back. He always does.
I'll tell you what.
He'll be back next year. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If Shane wins, he'll be back.
No.
Oh yeah! Yes, brother. What's WrestleMania without the Hulkster, brother?
Next WrestleMania, if Shane wins this time, yeah.
Calling it right here, calling it right now. If Shane starts losing the match, we got a Hogan running out of nowhere.
The gay community.
No. Speaking of things that are that have already left flown the nest and left the coop, Bobby Roode and Eric Young are both gone from TNA after requesting their releases and will face each other at House of Hardcore on May 7th. It is believed Young wanted more freedom to do outside projects, and Roode was under a contract similar to AJ Styles that TNA really couldn't keep up. Rey Mysterio defeated Kurt Angle at UR Fight after Riff Raff distracted Angle. Who the fuck is Riff Raff?
Oh my God, Riff Raff distracted him? Oh, that's disgusting.
Tank Abbott was nixed by the Athletic Commission for his scheduled fight with Dan Severn. Justin Roberts was the ring announcer, did a really good job. And okay, so this is the fun part, and I saw this on 42010. A restaurant in Monterrey, Mexico, called John Cena Burger and Taco has dishes named after Kali, Umaga, Kane, and others.
I need to go to Mexico right now.
Just so I can get this out of the way, it's not Juan Cena.
No, it's not Juan, it's John.
God.
Okay.
I need to find this place. I need to go to Mexico. I need to eat there.
If it's in Mexico, do you think there's a chance that you could run into Generico?
Oh,
maybe.
No, wrong town. Wrong town.
Aww.
So, going
Let's
back
talk
to
about
I was gonna say.
So TNA, yeah.
Why?
Before you worry about those guys leaving, I have to tell you something. Bram signed a multi-year contract with TNA. Just
my nipples are hard. I am excited.
Actually, since we're talking about TNA and it's relevant, I'm actually happy I got to see Eric Young's and Bobby Roode's last matches in TNA, actually. I went Tuesday to the taping for last week's episode, and I gotta say, it was a really good episode. I really loved how Galloway came out into the crowd. It was a great taping, man, and I didn't expect that I was gonna see Beer Money for the last fucking time.
Did anything else exciting or interesting happen?
Well, I mean, it was a regular Impact episode. It was okay wrestling. I really loved the Grotto and Eli Drake ladder match. That was good. It served its purpose. A lot of people got behind Grotto immediately, and I hope that they do something with him. The main event was incredibly overbooked. Like, they had Mike Bennett run out with Maria. They had Eric Young and Bram take out Jeff Hardy. And it was just a giant clusterfuck. But they recovered in the end by having Drew Galloway win out and cash in his money in the... Feast or Fired to win the belt.
Oh.
But I will say that Bobby Roode and Eric Young's leaving that company, I didn't expect it. I feel bad for James because he
just signed
in NXT, and he just signed. And now probably I'm pretty sure everyone here will agree with me. Bobby Roode's probably gotten a call from Triple H saying, "Hey, brother, I got this thing down in Orlando. Why don't you come take a look at it?"
I can see that happening.
Yes. And we were so close, ladies and gentlemen, to having Beer Money in NXT.
Well, here's something to think about, though. If they couldn't honor Bobby Roode's contract, and they couldn't honor AJ Styles' contract, what are the odds they honor James Storm's contract, or can?
Exactly. I I expect James to be back at the same place, essentially, as he was.
But will he have that same spot in Orlando?
I think so. That? I think they could become like the trainers for the tag team division or something.
I just don't.
Oh, we got another call in.
All right. We got another call. Take it.
Hello, caller.
You're on the line.
Yo, it's Murph1. Here, jump on for a little bit, you guys.
Hey.
Murph! I don't even know. I have no idea.
But, yeah, I honestly, I feel bad for James because I bet you Hunter probably told him, he's like, hey, sign the contract. You don't know what's going to happen. You never know. Stay. Trust me. Stay. And then he didn't. And now Hunter's looking at him like, should have fucking stayed. Told you.
All right. I think that's it for our news. It's our last news segment as serious. That's it. Rip.
Are you serious, bro?
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm just as serious as Zack Ryder getting a WrestleMania match.
Oh my god!
I'm so fucking confused by that.
I am so hype about that.
We can have an entire 45-minute segment about how confused I am of how the fuck did Zack Ryder get to WrestleMania. I can't explain it.
And we will next week.
Spot.
Yeah, you took Neville's spot.
And we will next week.
We'll
talk about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Guys.
He's going to go Broadway, folks.
What about Tyler Breeze?
Did I say imaginary? I meant interplanetary, like my weirdo brother.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Smoot, you're on hold, buddy. I don't know how to conference. I don't know why it's doing that. So, you're still on. We just can't hear you. You should be just on hold.
Ladies and gentlemen, and this is our wonderful technical producer, Mr. Yankum DDS, and he's going to transition us into the 15-minute time limit.
Oh, yeah.
Moment y'all been waiting for.
That was the wrong one. That's the right one. All right, everybody.
I'm sure
so,
it's just a technicality.
So a little bit ago, myself, Safest Dog, Omega PR, Yang and DDS were all in the room, and we were all talking to the man named Lance Hoyt, a wrestler based out of Texas. He's been in WWE, he's been in TNA, he's been everywhere, wrestling for the past a whole lot of time here. And we had an interview with him, and this is the part where you get to listen to it. So check it out. Dog, happy birthday, by the way. Or happy belated birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I appreciate it.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go through here with a couple of questions. This is technically the segment of the show that we're going to be playing this in is our 15-minute time limit. But we're going to keep it, we're going to stretch that out a little bit here because we got a few questions for you. All right, so this is Lance Hoyt, by the way, everybody. This is a WWE, TNA, NJPW veteran, current GHC tag team champions with Davey Boy Smith Jr., and all-around awesome guy, from what I understand.
You've been talking to the wrong people then, I guess, man.
Go figure. All right, so we'll start from the beginning. Growing up in Texas, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
I played football in high school and for a couple of years in college, and that was kind of where I was really focused at before I got into wrestling and whatnot. And, I really put a lot of time into it, being going to camps and, a lot of the practicing and a lot of different avenues and searching for the right college and stuff like that, trying to get in and do something special within professional football. But, that never really panned out, and I stopped playing about my third year in college, and that's kind of when I looked towards professional wrestling.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So, according to the Wikipedia, which is always a great resource, insert my sarcasm here, Solo Fiatala. Pardon me for mispronouncing that if I did. What was training like for you? when you first started? What made you decide to go from football to wrestling?
Well, I'd been a fan.
He's
for
taking Neville's
years.
spot.
I didn't actually get to start watching wrestling until probably about 93, 94 when WCW was on Nitro on TNT. I didn't see it much growing up when I was a kid. My parents never took me to events or anything like that, so I didn't become a fan until my later years in high school and then into college. Like I said, I was still playing football, and that was my focus. And then when I got out of football,
Did you notice that Sin Cara was wearing Sami Zayn's colors?
How to get into it, any avenues or anything like that. I was working in some nightclubs in downtown Austin, while I was going to school, and the guy that owned the club actually knew a guy who had started his own wrestling school and federation in Austin, Texas, called the SWWF, the Southwest Wrestling Federation. And actually, when he started it, Ivan Putski was his head trainer, but then they had a falling out. And by the time I started, Ivan and Scott and those guys had left, and Solo was the only guy left there for him and his training. And so Solo was a great guy. His knowledge, I think, was very.
Tyler, I tire of you.
Not that's just the reality, but he did wrestle and train, and he had his background, and he'd worked with Ivan when Ivan was there, so he kind of had that little bit of training going into what I was doing. Excuse me. But he was really, really informative. He was really safe. He helped me learn a lot of the basics in a very good and strong way. So, I appreciate everything he did for me because he really gave me my first chance in the business. And then, he had his own wrestling company for a little bit there and then, worked with me and had me as his champ and stuff like that. So he did a lot for me in the beginning of my career.
That's awesome, man. Speaking of people who have influenced your career, who's your hero in general, either in wrestling or outside?
I don't know, man. I've never had somebody that I just said, man, that's the guy I want to be like. I think I've always gravitated towards different sports and athlete guys who've been successful. To pinpoint who's my hero, I don't really have, that's my hero. That's the guy that I always looked up to. So, Sting was the reason that I got into the wrestling business, pro wrestling business. So, I guess you could say in whatever sense that he was, but that's more pro wrestling than anything. But
guys,
yeah, I never had just that.
Guys, I can hear it.
I was like, yeah, I've got to be like him. I want to be like that guy.
Guys.
All right, awesome answer. So in
we need more shaky cam.
Was my first exposure to you, 2006, right about then. Okay. Do you have a funny story from that time?
My time at DNA was interesting, to say the least. I was there for 5 years. I started in 2004, March of 2004. I basically got my job because I showed up for another tryout match, and they put me on the board with Cash, and I kind of got the spot because Don Harris had said, I look like a bigger version of Cash, and Johnny Swinger's wife was having a baby, and that was the reason he wasn't there, and that's the reason I got put into the spot. And my name, Dallas, which is what I debuted as, was kind of up in the air as to what that was going to be as well, because I was working under the gimmick name Shadow out of the Independence in Texas. And one of the stories, I guess, towards that, so trying to decide what name they're going to give me. They're thinking of different names of cities and towns all in Tennessee. So, I could have been some crazy name. And I was telling Sabu about this, because I had pants that had Shadow on them. And I was walking around looking for a can of black spray paint because they were the leather pants. And he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I've got to find some paint to cover this name up. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because they want to change my name, and they said it's not going to be Shadow. And he's like, why not? It's Shadow's the name that people know you by. They should keep that. They can't change that. And I was like, yeah, I'm not really in a good position.
But it doesn't even extract. That's the one that Ronnie gave me. It doesn't work.
He said, I'm going to go tell my bag, storm off in front Jeff and those guys and tell them they better not change my name. And I'm like, whoa, man, wait a second. I just got here. Don't give me any trouble, and I don't even know what I'm going to be called. I think it was Dutch Mantel that was finally like, well, where's he from? And they're like, Dallas. That's a good name. Give it to him. That's how it became Dallas.
I bought that one.
That's great. I could just see Sabu doing that to you. That's the best part about it.
Remember?
He was ready to storm off and defend me, man. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
You let me get square.
I already knew him.
Back to you.
And he wanted to do that. Just kind of, he was ready to go. I was like, wow, that's cool.
I gotta ask, who is the craziest? You've met some, I'm sure, some really interesting people, but during that time in TNA, is there anyone that sticks out in your mind as just like the wackiest person, other than Sabu?
The wackiest? Oh man, I don't know. I mean, the crew that I hung out with was, me, Monty Brown, Johnny Devine, those guys. And Johnny's one of those dudes, man. Like he became one of my best friends there. And he was one of those guys that, if you had to go into a fight, you'd absolutely want Johnny Devine on your side, because he would fight tooth and nail. He'd pull hair, pull nails, he'd kick somebody's teeth in, he'd do whatever he had to do to defend you. But on that same side, he was pretty wild child back then. It was pretty funny, some of the stuff he'd do, and he'd make some people very uncomfortable in just the way he'd act. And, it wasn't any knock, and it was pretty crazy to see him do some of the stuff he did. But he was nothing but a great dude, nothing but a great friend to me. And so, I mean, I appreciate all the time that I had around him. But he's pretty wacky cat.
That's so awesome. So let's switch gears here. You made the transfer. Let's transfer over to WWE. What was the difference in experience for you? Like, with handling with the office or handling with the backstage? I mean, was there a difference, or was it just like another job in another place?
It's very different. I mean, WWE is a much larger element than anything else in the world. Their companies run more, especially in those days, as an entertainment company, and still today. When I went in under the FCW banner, and it was a good choice, a good decision on their part and my part for me to start there to kind of learn their system, because they definitely run their company in a certain way. They want their entertainers, their sports entertainers, to act and react in certain ways in comparison to really any other wrestling company or entertainment company around the world. And then obviously, it's on a bigger scale with bigger production and all the things that go into making WWE what it is. When people see this spectacular that's on TV every Monday night on Raw and every Thursday on SmackDown, and then the pay-per-views and the network and everything that's going into it, it's such a big company that it kind of can be overwhelming at times with the different people that are involved. I mean, a lot of the guys that are running the backstage and whatnot are former wrestlers that have experience in the business at different levels, at different times, in different eras of the business. But all at the same time, every single one of us was reporting back to Vince McMahon, and his vision was what everybody was trying to follow and trying to create. And sometimes it got pretty hectic trying to understand exactly what he wanted, and if he even cared about somebody at certain times. Certain guys, you wonder, well, how and why is that guy not getting more of a chance and opportunity within the company? He's been there forever, so on and so forth. And a lot of that just comes back to, he's the low man on the totem pole, and right now they're only focused on certain guys in certain positions. So the guys that are in those positions, and I was at different times, are just trying to find a place to, get noticed, be noticed, and do something special within the business and with any opportunity that we can possibly be given. So it can be pretty hectic. It can be pretty, frustrating at different times. But at the same time, I got to know a lot of great people, learn from some of the best in business, from the Arns, Andersons, Fit Finleys, all these guys that were there that were helping us on a daily basis. The experiences of getting to be on the road on a weekly basis, working live events for WWE, to getting to dress and, put my boots on and walk the ramp at WrestleMania in Arizona. So, as frustrating as things could be, and as, kind of scary as things could be at different times, the experiences were well worth it, because every moment you were doing something new and entertaining and fun and interesting and maybe never get to do again in the business. And, so for me, I really appreciate my time at WWE, and the people that I met and the things that I learned and the experiences that I got.
So after the WWE, you went to Japan. Which is what a lot of us, a lot of our listeners know you from.
Right.
How did that door open for you, and what's the biggest difference between the fans here and the fans there?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've actually been doing some stuff in Japan since 2007 when I was in TNA. I'd done some independent shots, and then I'd actually did a short tour with All Japan back in 2009. So then I went into WWE for the 2 years that I was there, and then when I came out, I I still had the connections with some of the people that I'd worked with before in Japan, and so I started looking back towards that avenue of getting back into Japan and working maybe with All Japan since I'd already been there and things like that. And, that actually almost happened. I also had some people within WWE that made some calls and sent some emails on my behalf, and I got my opportunity with New Japan back in 2011. And initially, it was just going to be a one-shot spot and kind of see how I did and see if that was worth their time, I guess you could say. And then it kind of quickly became more because once they realized, several of the people within their office and some of the wrestlers, I already knew them and they already knew me, and that comfort level increased. They decided to put me on the roster on more of a full-time basis. And that was at a time when New Japan didn't have so many foreigners, so many guys in. It was Giant Bernard, or, some people know him as Baldo or A-Train or Tensai or whatever name that you might remember him as. He was going strong in Japan, and his tag partner, Carl Anderson, who, has been all over the internet and is probably going to be making a debut here pretty soon for WWE. Ferg Devitt, who's, now Finn Balor, who was there at the time. So there weren't that many foreigners. So I got an opportunity at a good time. And then, things just were going really well. As a part of a group called Suzuki Gun, they brought Smith in. We made the tag team KEF, Killer Elite Squad. The biggest difference to me for the fan base, as far as Japanese wrestling fan base and the American wrestling fan base, is the appreciation and respect I think that the fans have for the fighters that are in the ring. The guys are considered fighters. They're not considered entertainers. And I think there's just a focus and an appreciation for each and every talent that steps in that ring, whereas I think the States, there's always a constant buzz. It's like being in a beehive. Whenever you step out in front of an American audience, there's always something or someone making noise, and there's people that are into what the situation is, good, bad, or indifferent. And sometimes you go into Japan, and it can be a very quiet situation. Sometimes American fans see that, and they think, wow, they must not be entertained, they must not care, they must not like what they're seeing. And in actuality, they're really focused on what's happening. And, when guys do something positive, the reactions you get from the Japanese fan base is just immense. And you've done something special, and you've worked really hard to get that reaction. Like I said, in the States, it's like being in that beehive and that constant buzz, and you're just trying to push them to that point where it's so loud and buzzing so hard that, that they're truly into the show and the match. So it's fun on both sides, working in both the States and working in Japan. But I just would say the respect level and appreciation level for each individual fighter and wrestler in the ring is kind of the biggest difference between Japanese audiences and American audiences.
So my question really is, to expand on this, you obviously were at WrestleMania and you were at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yep.
What was your experience like walking out for both of those events?
I mean, WrestleMania is WrestleMania. I mean, there is no bigger event in all of the world, and especially professional wrestling sports entertainment. So even though my match that I was a part of was a multi-man battle royal, and it was pre-show, and people were still filtering in, and it's still daylight and stuff like that, it wasn't the full production of being in WrestleMania, but I still got to do it. I still got to walk through Gorilla, down the ramp, in my gear, wrestle in front of the incoming 72,000 people that were in Arizona that year. So it's a once in a lifetime experience at this point for me. Working Wrestle Kingdom was for me a lot more special because the first two especially were Smith and I defending the IWGP tag team titles, riding in on motorcycles and full crazy gear. And, we successfully defended the titles the first year. Unfortunately, we lost the titles the second year, but both years, again, defending their tag team championships. So for me, it was a much more special situation because of the match and the importance of what I was doing at the time. In Wrestle Kingdom, depending on the different times that you've been a part of it, the second year I was a part of it, the production level of Wrestle Kingdom was so high and so good and so amazing that it would have rivaled anything that WWE was doing with WrestleMania. So to be a part of those was for me very, very special, like I said. And just to be able to say that I walked down the ramp at WrestleMania is a really cool thing to be able to say and do. Absolutely. I mean, both experiences, are life-changing in and of themselves. So I was just completely curious. What's your favorite team to work with in Japan? favorite team to work with, I guess I'd have to just say it'd be Tenzan and Kojima, just because we've worked with them so many times on so many shows and pay-per-views.
Still better than Dashing.
Title matches with them, and the continuity between the two teams, KES and Tenkoji, has been just off the charts to the point where we basically don't need to go in there and really call anything, but we do, and then we work together very well, and it's to a point where I think we've all gone into each match and tried to create a situation where people are going, oh, this match again, oh, we've seen it 100 times before, but then when we come out of it, the fans, both in Japan and the people who watch it on the internet, go, man, that was still a lot of fun. They were able to do new things and approach it in a different way, and it was still kind of a cool experience for anybody that's ever watched it, being that, again, we've wrestled them 20 plus times or something like that in different kinds of tag matches and title matches and stuff.
Yeah, I always personally have enjoyed those matches. All right.
Yeah.
You're a big Texas guy in Japan. What do you think there?
I'm laughing, sorry. Being in the chat.
I think that's one of the biggest experiences going to Japan for the guys in the foreign Americans especially. If you've got an open mind to eating food, you're going to enjoy it. If you don't, you're going to be very miserable because the food is very different in a lot of ways. I think one of the biggest and best foods that almost every American loves to go in and eat, and it's not really Japanese, it's Korean barbecue, but it's yakiniku, but it's so big in Japan and it's everywhere and whatnot, and it's basically, you sit down and you've got your own little barbecue pit at your table, and they bring these thinly sliced pieces of meat, whether it's beef or pork or chicken or whatever you want. It's soft, it's salted, it's all those things. And you cook it right there in front of you, and you eat till you just can't eat anymore. It's one of the best things. I also like eating what is called shabu-shabu, which is basically, again, thinly sliced meats, but they bring a boiling pot and put it in front of you, and you put all your vegetables, and you put the meat in there, and the meat cooks really quickly, especially if it's beef. And then you have like a dipping sauce, like a ponzu or a sesame-style dipping sauce that you dip the meats in and whatnot. And again, you just eat till you just can't eat anymore. And I mean, there's so many good foods, and you start talking about the raw food, the sushi and fish and everything, because it's so fresh and it's so good. And then, one of my favorites that most Americans don't tend to agree with me upon and kind of give me grief about is I love raw horse. Raw horse is absolutely awesome, and it's very high in protein.
Horse! Wow, okay, that's something I didn't expect to hear.
Yes, it's one of my favorites.
Interesting. Out of all the things, wow, okay. Part of my drool for the rest of that, by the way, because that sounds delicious, and I haven't had dinner yet.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. Do you have any advice to the new kids breaking in?
Just to find that passion. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, goods and bads. I've had conversations recently with guys in Japan, foreign American guys who are trying to find their way and do their thing, and kids over here that are working in independence and trying to find their path into something bigger and better. And have an open mind, be prepared for the bad times, search for the good times, look for advice from people who have been around the business, and don't just look for somebody to pat you on the back and tell you how good you are, but rather look for the advice of somebody who's going to say, yeah, that was good, but here's what you can improve upon, and, be willing and able to take that advice in. Constructive criticism can do nothing but help you, especially if it's constructive, but a lot of kids today, unfortunately, I think just want to hear somebody tell them how good they are and how good they did, and not tell them, well, yeah, that was good, but, this could have been better and that could have been better, and you should have improved here and whatnot. And another big thing that I tell a lot of guys and girls today when I'm on shows and whatnot is make people care about you as a person, as a personality, as a character. If the people out there love you or hate you to death as your character, as who you are, and they remember your name, it doesn't matter what you do move-wise, they will go crazy for it. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of guys and girls who think that the only thing and the only way to get reactions from the fans are to do a lot of crazy cool moves. And to me, the problem with that is if there's 1,000 wrestlers out there that can do the same move, then if I'm a promoter, I can pick and choose who I want if I'm picking and choosing based on the moves. But if I have a wrestler that the people just absolutely go nuts for, whether they love him or hate him, and I have to have that wrestler on, it doesn't matter what moves they do, I need that wrestler. And so I say for the guys and girls out there that are learning and coming up and trying to make a name for themselves, is find ways to make the fan base love you as a person, as a personality, not just the moves you do, because there's 100 other people standing behind you that can do the same moves. Make them care about you.
Absolutely. I mean, less is more, from what I've understood. You know, as long as you can just slow things down and make the most out of the very little points that you can make. You could be that much better.
Yep.
All right. Anything left on your bucket list?
As far as wrestling is concerned, I've had a very good career, and whether some would agree with it or not, I've been very lucky, very blessed, and nearly 16 years in this business, making a living at it. I've wrestled in TNA, WWE, and Japan for several years now. And I guess you could say my strong soul in the business has always been tag team wrestling, and I've done a lot of cool things and achieved a lot of cool things in tag team wrestling. I guess the only thing on my bucket list would be a real true opportunity in a singles title push somewhere and somehow, and really prove to myself and to the wrestling world that I was always worth the time and effort, and I know that the person I've become, the wrestler I've become, the American Psycho Lance Hoyt or Lance Archer, whichever you know me by, is a personality that, unfortunately, I didn't have in my early part of my career. I have now, and I think if the rest of the world could see what I'm doing in Japan as much as Japan has been seeing me do it, they would recognize and see exactly how good I've become, and I could become that singles wrestler, that single champion that I know I can carry that load and carry those titles. And so if you ask what's on my bucket list, it's something to that degree. But with that being said, don't take me wrong. I'm very happy with where I'm at, what I'm doing. I love being part of KES with Davey Boy Smith Jr. We've done a lot of cool, fun things. He's a great dude, and I think there's a lot more still to come for KES as a team.
I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of that.
Definitely.
If you weren't wrestling, what would you want to do?
At this point in my life, I think I would like to be a part of the wrestling business in some form or fashion. I've worked with some kids as far as training in wrestling schools and stuff like that. I thoroughly enjoy being on shows and working with some of those younger talents and trying to help them find themselves. Because I can't tell them what to do and how to be. I can only give them my opinions, and then they have to take it for themselves. And I love working with and helping and hopefully setting up that next generation for success. And I think I'd like to stay in the wrestling business in that form or fashion if possible. And if it wasn't in wrestling, I still enjoy the sport of American football. I'm a big arena football fan. Obviously, the NFL. I'm a big San Diego Chargers fan, stuff like that. I guess maybe coaching and teaching in high school and then working with kids and helping them find their passion and their dreams and maybe be successful in that. If I was outside of wrestling, that would be where I'd be, coaching and teaching.
I can completely understand that. Passing the knowledge that you would have, especially with your experience, would be extremely valuable to young up-and-comers. And do you think they're going to stay in San Diego?
Man. Well, with them staying another year, I think the possibility is there. I think the city, it's been there so long. I don't think they want to leave. I think they just want that new stadium. If they get that new stadium, they're going to stay in San Diego. Otherwise, they would have left this year, I think. Moving to LA, I don't think is something they want to do, but it's almost like if the city and the team can't get a new stadium, because that stadium's been there for 20-something years or something like that, if it's not longer, that's going to be their big hand to push them back or push them out of San Diego into LA.
Yeah, especially since they picked I believe they picked the Inglewood site, and the other site was supposed to be the one that was, better for San Diego or something like that. I was seeing that on ESPN. Mm-hmm. All right, so my co-host would would kill me and have my neck if I didn't ask this question. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Chocolate and peanut butter.
Interesting choice. Very good choice. All right, my friend. Where can we find you online? Do you have like a pro wrestling tee shop, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I do have a pro wrestling tee shop. Other than going on prowrestlingtees.com and putting in my name, I don't know how else you would search it at this point. Lance Hoyt, or at Lance Hoyt is my Twitter, and Lance Hoyt is my public Facebook page. lhoyt77 is my Instagram. I have the Pro Wrestling Tees, and then the celebrity video messaging that you can go on. But I think that's through Pro Wrestling Tees as well. But those are the main ones that I'm there, and I'm very public, very open. If people aren't being complete jerks, I'm open to talk to them and answer questions and see what's up. And they can also contact me there for bookings as well.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you,
man. I appreciate it.
All right, so that was Lance Hoyt in our interview with that guy. Great guy, fun guy to talk to. I highly suggest supporting him on his pro wrestling tee shop and all that other nonsense. But for now, that was our last 15-minute time limit. So I want some ice cream. And I apologize, by the way, for the technical difficulties. And one news bit that we totally forgot: New York is now legal in MMA is now legal in New York. God forbid. So, with that being said. Yeah, exactly.
New York is now legal in MMA. Okay.
Yes, exactly. I want ice cream. Anybody else want ice cream?
Can we please go to Dairy Queen? Come on, I'm hungry.
I want a Blizzard.
Damn dirty Blizzard.
Dairy Queen, drive-through.
And you bet your butt guess who's going to do them ratings? It's going to be you, Vassar.
And before I do the ratings, I would like to mention that the entirety of the Lance Hoyt interview will be probably a separate upload from the episode 200 due to technical difficulties. But other than that, on to the ratings. Starting as usual with TNA Impact, it is 307,000 viewers, up 38% from the 222,000 viewers as it was semi-live. And for SmackDown, 2.260 million viewers, up 2.16 million from the week previous. And finally, Raw, 3.399 million viewers, down 1.7% from last week's 3.457 million viewers. And that is it for the ratings.
Happy birthday! We're going to have the birthdays read by WC Masters.
Oh boy. I love doing that. Alright, today, and birthdays, on the 23rd, we'd like to give shoutouts to Ray Gordy, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and Villano III. On the 24th, birthdays being celebrated include Epico, Christopher Daniels, Barry Horowitz, Jack Swagger, who showed up with a chain wallet on Raw last week, and The Undertaker. January. Sorry, I'm completely off of months here. The 25th of March, Jumper Suruta. 26th, Mike Mondo, related to Nick Mondo? Not sure. And Sylvain Grenier. March 27th, Charlie Haas, Darren Drozdov, excuse me for the noise back there, my niece is watching an iPad, Kenta Kobashi, and Octagon. On the 28th of March, Island Boy Ekmo, Kurt Hennig, One Man Gang, aka Akeem, and The Warlord. And on the 29th, Michael P.S. Hayes, celebrating his birthday. And that is it for this week in birthdays. Happy birthday to everyone, and let's hope you continue to live long, fruitful lives, or something like that.
You are learning, my apprentice. You are learning.
He also has a small child in the same room as him, so don't think for a second there that you've been exempt from any of this, Ned Jester. And now it is time for This week in wrestling history with Omega BR.
Yes, this week in wrestling history, circa 2002, Amazon wins Shu's Osaka Pro Wrestling Battle Royal title in Osaka, Japan by last eliminating Takashi Tachibana in a 10-man Battle Royal. This began his second reign. Jumped to 2004, where Pretty Boy Delgado defeats Gage Octane to win the Steel Domain Wrestling Television title in Maple Grove, Minnesota. And in 2007, WWE broadcasted ECW on Sci-Fi featuring CM Punk versus Hardcore Holly and the ECW champion Bobby Lashley versus Chris Masters, as they led to Lashley versus Vince McMahon for the ECW title that following Raw. And that was This Week in Wrestling History.
Happy Trails. Safest Dog, go with the Happy Trails.
Fuck yeah, to Steel Domain Wrestling. I grew up on that shit. Minnesota for life. But unfortunately, sad news to start off the Happy Trails. Happy Trails to the family of Mary Catherine Stewart, who was the daughter of one of WWE's longtime cameramen. She died after falling off of a cliff this past weekend, which is a very sad way to go. And also, if you watched the very beginning of Raw, they had a little tribute before the show. So that was a cool thing. Very nice thing for them to do, WWE to do. Also, happy trails to the Wyatt family during Raw's Dark Main Event. That was last night, which saw a fan punch Braun Strowman. I can't believe anyone would try to do that. They punched him in the face. And also, Luke Harper's knee buckled, requiring him to be helped to the back. There's word that it's an ACL injury, but there's no official confirmation on what the injury is. Who the fuck punches Braun Strowman in the face? Can't believe that shit.
Braun Strowman.
And then, happy trails to this right here, the SRS, the Serious Podcast. This is the last episode with that name. Next week, we will be back as the Smark Snark Presents Podcasts.
Yay! Yes, we will be. Because we're getting rid of the Serious name, I think it was time for a facelift, a face change. Small little, we
need a turn. They're going to keep the number because they've done 200, which I think is a good idea, and just change the name to a better name.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bro, it's time for a change. Seriously.
Are you serious?
Snark, get the F
serious. If I could be serious for a minute. All right, that's enough of those. What should we watch?
Wait, I've got that.
If I can be serious for a minute.
There we go.
Yep. All right.
Goodbye, Lance Storm reference. I miss you always.
Kind of, sort of. Well, what should we watch this week in wrestling? We're going to go down the list here. Think of DDS. What are we watching this week in wrestling?
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, really. I don't like. We got WrestleMania coming up. Isn't there an NXT takeover? Soonish.
Well? Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna watch.
NXT TakeOver Dallas next Friday.
Okay, I couldn't remember what it was, but
that's cheating.
I'm the technical guy. It's not my
right, and I didn't give him any time to prepare, which is exactly what I wanted to try to do. We'll make a PR. What should we watch this week in wrestling?
From July 19th, 1999, Nitro, it was Sting versus Ric Flair for control of WCW. I remember as a kid watching this with my brother, and it was the first match I really got super ecstatic about because Sting won and I was jumping up and down on my bed. I was so excited about it.
Save us, dog. What should we watch this week in wrestling?
You should definitely be watching. You should be Lucha watching Lucha Underground every week. Lucha watching is where you put on the mask and you feel like you're even more of a part of it.
Oh, dear Jesus, what a mark.
And
Omega does that.
Who doesn't, man? That's awesome. And you should also watch from last week's Lucha Underground for the Lucha Underground title. It was Mil Muertes versus Phoenix in a absolutely great match.
Heard that was a fucking barn burner.
Vassar, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
We should watch WrestleMania 29, Chris Jericho versus Fandango, because last night's match with them as the rematch fucking sucked, and we did not get to hear Cha-La-La.
This is true. Matt Jester, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, I'm going to go back to my DVD library and quickly pull out Money in the Bank from July 15th, 2012. No disqualification for the World Heavyweight Championship with special guest referee AJ Lee. CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan.
Jester, I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm just going to remind you of something.
What?
Last week, that was my match that I suggested.
Really?
Yes, it was. As a matter of fact, if you had been paying attention at all, I was the one to say that you should watch that match. And, yeah. Pick another one.
Okay. Off of the same DVD, one of my favorites is still... here's a good one. Antonio Cesaro and Ryback versus Jack Swagger and Daniel Bryan.
Croc, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, depending on if it gets out in time, I would say everybody should go ahead and watch PWG. I believe it was Bowie they released the preview for last night, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. If Bowie comes out before TakeOver, watch Bowie. If not, watch Lemmy.
Okay. I watched Lemmy, actually, and it was really good.
That's what I heard.
Okay, and WFC Masters, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, I am going to absolutely recommend that you pick up WWE's NXT Greatest Matches Blu-ray, because that thing is amazing. And in particular, I would like to recommend Adrian Neville versus Sami Zayn for the NXT Championship match that took place on December 11th, 2014. I did not know too much about NXT until I saw TakeOver Revolution, and that was a turning point, as agreed on upon by many, as to where NXT got insanely awesome. And now that I know so much more about all of these wrestlers, it's great. I love it.
Let me do one more just for one match.
Sure.
Okay. On that same DVD, I believe the best match that happened in NXT for a long time before TakeOver started happening, CM Punk and Seth Rollins versus the Kings of Wrestling, Antonio Cesaro and Cassius Ohno.
Yep, that was some good shit. This week, I'm going to tell you all to watch the Kevin Steen versus El Generico Ladder War from Final Battle 2010. Basically, it was their last match in their giant year-long feud, and it was quite an amazing ladder match. The feud started with a giant shot to the head with chair shots, although this was a couple years before they decided that was a bad idea. And it ended with one of those too, and it was just a sick feud between El Generico, the Sami Zayn's teacher and mentor, and Kevin Steen. Oh my god, it was so good! It was so good.
That was Generico's last indie match, wasn't it, or one of his last indie matches?
One of them. Yeah, it was towards the end.
One last bonus shout out for a match here. Definitely go back a couple of days to. It was a Great Voyage 2016 for Noah, and check out our boy Lance Archer / Lance Hoyt taking on a pretty good team there in Noah. Him and Davey Boy Smith Jr., the KES.
Yes, please go check that out. All right. Since there's not going to be any points until we reintroduce points next podcast, I think, guys, this is it.
Wait, Net Jester doesn't get negative points? He always gets negative points an episode.
Well, we're going to get it back once we actually start the points again, I would assume. Right, Yango?
It'll just be considered net dresser points at that point, because they will be negative billions.
I can't imagine a situation where Net Jester wins a game.
Oh, dear Jesus. This is going to be great. One day, though, we're all going to throw the game. We're all going to throw the game, and Net Jester's going to win by default. And you're going to be like, oh no, he won.
He's going to have a freaking aneurysm.
It won't happen, because here's what happens.
If you had an aneurysm, we would have no show.
If you did that, I would score the game like golf, and then it would be the lowest score wins.
Okay.
But if he goes negative, then he wins.
So, okay, how about this? So what happens when we do a game where I'm supposed to lose? Because, you always make me lose. But I'm competing in the same game with Net Jester. Who loses?
Secret option, I win.
Yep.
No one wins. All right, so so let's stop having a show meeting here.
Only the wins. Net Jester and Gunner never win ever. That's how this.
Hold on. I've got the new theme to the
Omega still
the new theme all set up. You guys want to hear the new theme?
Oh, you do? Oh.
I didn't know there was a new theme, but okay.
You guys ready for the new theme?
Oh, here we go.
Fortune 4!
God damn it.
Fortune 4!
No.
Alright, I had to, I'm sorry.
I have an actual theme song for next week.
Alright, I'm looking forward to it.
Will it be bringing on the bitch slap?
Alright, everybody. Thank you. It's been 200 episodes. This has been an amazing time. I'd like to thank all the people, first off, all our fans. The guys in Wests, all the guys on wooo, all that other stuff, because you guys are the ones that help. And Twitter. And Facebook and all that nonsense, because y'all make this podcast awesome. We really appreciate it. I also like to thank you guys for putting up with all this crap, and everybody else, in general, families that we sacrificed our Tuesday nights to come here and bitch about wrestling. Which we'll call it, get on the internet and bitch, that kind of thing. But at least our therapy session here is pretty contained, and we all enjoy relatively each other's company. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. You can check us out online, smarksnark.com, twitter.com/smarksnark, facebook.com/smarksnark. You can give us a call at 812-408-9666 or 812-408.
Woo!
That's good. All right, and you can also add us at Sirius Podcast, SRS Podcast on Skype, and we can patch you in to the show. You can also TeamSpeak information on when we do the show and how we do the show is up there on the website too, so you can check that out. And I think that's it.
Hey, can I
plug your stuff? Plug your stuff.
Hey, do you live in Central Florida? Do you want to be a pro wrestler? I got the answer for you. Go ahead and check on out the Team Vision Dojo located at 6923 Narcoossee Road, building number 620. You can also check us out at www.teamvisiondojo.com. We have classes all the way through Monday and Thursday, ranging from 7 p.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. There are private lessons available. It's a great school. And we also have a show coming up on March the 2nd. Bell time's 8 p.m. And it's going to be a great show on WrestleMania weekend. Come on out and say hi to us. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at TheCroc with the O replaced with a 0. Thank you guys so much.
April the 2nd, right?
Yeah.
April 2nd.
Sorry, get himself over there.
Aneurysm for a second.
Okay.
Well, let's put it this way. We'll go through the Twitters here. So Smarksnark at twitter.com/smarksnark is the podcast handle.
God damn it, Gunner! Can I just do this? If you want to tweet us, you can tweet us.
We already did it though.
Twitter.com/smarksnark.
That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing.
Facebook.com/smarksnark.
I already said all this.
Gunner takes 5fists.com.
What? Okay, whatever. I was just going to have everybody get out their Twitter. That's okay. If that's okay with you, Mr. Fancy Pants over there.
You make me ring out my Twitter, but it has nothing to do with wrestling, okay?
Yeah. Just rattle it off. Go ahead, yank 'em.
Smark Snark. That's the one I tweet from. I also have Isaac Yankum at Isaac Yankum. I rarely tweet from it, but if I do, it's probably something more me related than the show.
Omega BR. Is that like Omega BR?
Yeah, at Omega BR. And the O is replaced with
umlauts.
The opera logo.
Save us, dog.
It's just at Save Us Dog. Volley movement since day one.
Vassar.
That would be at Vassar Nation or Vassar Nation. VACCER Nation. Yeah. I mostly just do speedrunning stuff, but I also occasionally tweet out about wrestling.
Oh,
Net Jester.
Plugs.
Well, we gotta get all in.
Actually, I'm a little bit too controversial, so I'd like to...
Okay.
That's what we thought. He's not on Twitter. WC Masters, do you have a Twitter?
I do, but I actually... my Twitter is... Oh god, I don't remember. Button Jam LV. I'd like to tweet out my little personal gaming channel where I do gaming stuff.
That's fine.
That's why I did my speedrunning thing.
Alright, chill. Alright, that's it. Thank y'all for listening. We'll check you out on episode 201 of the Smart Snark podcast. And we wish you well in your past, present, and future endeavors.
Hulk Hogan, you've just won $140 million from the...
Okay, that's all I can say to that.
Take care, respect your hair, woo woo woo, you know it.
Thank you guys so much. We can't express even in words how much we appreciate every last one of you who's listening now and has listened, will listen. We love you. Take us out, Omega BR.
Said good night, Buffalo.